All right, I'm going to bring us into game while I sort this out. I apologize about there not being sound. I got to fix that up. Thank you, the Nate18 and Saberlight SC2 for the follows. But spawning up here in the top for Genesis Gaming, give it up for Mick Monroe. And his opponent down here in the bottom, you know him from AlphaX. Give it up for Starkiller. What if you beatbox for us? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Gonna be hitting up this game. We've got a 12 pool, maybe 14. I wasn't counting at all because I'm trying to find the sound. And Genesis Gaming gonna answer that with a hatchery of his own. Let's see, desktop audio. Yeah, I'm just having a little trouble getting in-game sounds. Every other sound is working for him. But yeah, as we see, we've got speed going to be starting up very quick for Starkiller. As we all know, he is one of those players who prescribes to the very powerful build of just sending lings across the map and hoping to kill his opponent very, very quickly. And I really do like that versus the hatchery first. But it does kind of put a little bit of a timer on you because you do need to get that damage in order to stay alive, because if your opponent continues to kind of press forward afterwards and you haven't killed that hatchery in the top, then you're in a lot of trouble. Now, Mick Monroe's seen this for quite a while. He's actually going to try and catch this before it hits the creep. And he will be able to shove this mic. Not Mike, I'm trying to read the chat at the same time. You guys are on a 60-second delay. But Mick Monroe is going to be able to go for a little bit of a counterattack behind this. We have seen drones just cut for both sides on 19 and 18. And now Mick Monroe's got his Baneling Nest ready to go. The Queens are going very far out to get this Overlord. Ooh, that would be a nice pickoff, because in this stage, every mineral counts. And you do not want to be remaking that Overlord at any stage. So Mick Monroe will get that, but now he's got to get back to the creep. All of his links are on the other side of the map, so Starkiller has the opportunity to go for surround. There's still a lot of slow lings available to him, but he will focus fire down the Queens. And now Starkiller, he's going to try and re-put the pressure on. But yeah, there's more than enough here from Mick Monroe, and Starkiller does see the Banelings now. Yeah, full wall off is definitely needed here. As yeah, he's gonna even have to double wall in order to save himself. But now the Queens are down. The wall is breached. And as these Queens start to fall, there's not really a lot here for Starkiller. He's been trying to get up to that next stage of the game, into that Roach Warren. But, yeah, it's not really working out too well for him. Now down 12 to 25 workers. That is probably, unfortunately, going to be it for our blue Zerg friend. Yeah, one big Baneling hit. Mick Monroe taking a very early lead for Genesis Gaming in a very fast game number 1. So fantastic start there for Genesis Gaming. Remember, if you take a look at the brackets down below, or in the, I forgot we're not on YouTube. If you take a look at the brackets linked in the chat, you can see that all the leads are very, very close for both sides. So that does mean that, any loss is going to be very painful for both sides, especially since Genesis Gaming's currently sitting at 3rd place. They need to win this week. They need to win another week. And AlphaX is only playing one additional time. So not that many opportunities for them to come back if they do fall today. I'm just relogging real quick to try and find out why my sound is not going off. Looks like... There we go. Alright, so map number 2. We are going to be hitting up... Looks like Death Aura. I like Death Aura. I'm wondering who you are going to be sending out. Remember, this is not all kill format. So that does mean that you do have to get a little bit of thinking caps on for both sides as I drop the link. Set everything up, and let's see who is sent for both sides. Got the game lobby up, just waiting for the players, but I hope you guys are excited and ready for this one. Like I said, it is getting very close to the end of the group stages here. And I believe only the top 4, it looks like, will move on. Looks like we do have our first player in. And we do have... Okay, there we go. That makes a little more sense. Bibs, I know you're excited. I know you want to win it for your team. But, yeah, these guys might be a little bit too good for you. But let's just get the players ready to go. We've got one ready from AlphaX. We've got the second ready from Genesis Gaming. Let's get this one underway. I'm hoping AlphaX wins. You know what? That is not so far off. They do still have a very powerful roster in this game. Even though we don't have our heavy hitters in Jotun and Ragnarok, they are unfortunately from the wrong server to be playing it out. But you know what? They are here in spirit. So let's hope they're up in spirit against this guy up here in the top corner for Genesis Gaming. He is not a star system. He is not a solar system. He's an entire galaxy. And it's going to be taking a lot of that as we go online to those swords and those arts. Give it up for Asuna. So a PvP. I have a feeling tonight might be the arena of mirror matchups. That would be pretty funny to see. As, you know, the thing about PvP, just like most mirror matchups, you do have that kind of element of much more heavy build order losses. Because, say, your opponent is going for DTs. It's okay, man. Hey, I wasn't making fun of you, Bibs. Like, if you got some problems getting them in, just let me know and I'll take care of them. But right now, we do see both sides. We do see both sides getting down those extra gases before any sort of expansion. And, you know, double gateways. Nothing really too crazy is standing out. Although we do see Galaxy kind of just keeping this probe out here. Keeping an eye out for that Nexus. You know what, man? I can never tell who's joking online. It's my biggest weakness. Like, you could tell me that you're ready to kill my mother, and I'd just be like, okay. I don't know why I went so extreme with my thinking here. It is definitely late after a long day, but you know, already we do see a little bit of a differentiation here. Galaxy is going for that double adept after adept, so he will have 4 of them to send across the map, while Asuna is playing it just a little bit safer and getting the stalkers in the backfield. Now, neither side has thrown down their choice of tech just yet, probably just fearing that there is a good potential for some sort of proxy, some sort of all-in. But I would like to see that soon, see their choices soon. It's kind of gearing up to look like Twilight Council for Asuna at the very least. But hold that thought, as he does get in, the Adept's going to get 2 workers. Good focus fire, going to get the 3rd. Not going to get the 4th though, as that is a hero probe. How often do you see a probe with a kill that is not an additional SCV? But we do have that little bit of a hidden proxy already down. The stalkers are going to be moving across the map. Galaxy, he will finally catch wind of this, and he does have quite a few adepts. Oh, this is a scary situation actually for Asuna. You got to be careful not to get any of these stalkers picked off, since you do have that robo facility coming on in. So you're going to need every single unit to make this work. I think on the other side, you just got to block this off. You cannot afford any time to bring a recall home. You've got to get some damage in right now. And there you go. Drops down that gateway, forces the recall. The pylon is killed off, but it's not going to be depowered. There is a backup one, but the stalkers just getting focus fired down. Oh man, forcing the recall as well. This is a lot of damage dealt. Even though the battle report doesn't show you too much, it's the fact that for the longest time, Galaxy had to pull his workers away. He was not mining for any stretch of the imagination. And now, you know what? Asuna, he forced the recall. He forced pretty much everything that he needed to. And now, Galaxy can't even afford to use this robo facility at all. Just kind of taking a look at it. His income is in the garbage. He's just trying to rebuild it up to a much stronger position. And now Asuna is just going to say, I'm going to kill you right here, right now. The force fields are good, but it's just not going to be enough. Not enough firepower. GG is called. So we do have the series tied up 1 apiece. As we move on to map number 3, we're going to be hitting Romanticide. So get your loved ones, get your people, and we will see you on a lovely little journey. Interesting. All right. Yeah, if you guys have missed any of the action from this channel, don't worry. I have had all the VODs saved, so you can check out the other matches that have been played here. You can also check them out on my YouTube page, youtube.com/gamersteed. Don't ask me why it's called that. I have no idea. But yeah, now it comes down to who is next. As Romanticide, it's one of those maps, I want to say that it can favor Terran in certain matchups. There are opportunities for other races to really have a good go of it, just because there's a lot of paths where there's a lot of blocked off areas with those rocks. But overall, it is one of those macro maps. You can see some players just decide to go for that little bit of a cheeky utilization of that short rush distance. But I digress on that point. It looks like Genesis needs just a minute. I will allow them to get it. But let's see how the other match is going. Looks like Ryan and Cham are battling it out on Jaganantha. That would be a fun one. Ryan is a pretty fun player. Looks like Trigger is not the guy. Be very, very careful. Okay, Bibs. I got you. What is server for this? Okay. So he's pretty much outed himself. It is going to be Trigger for our next one, and it looks like Pili Pili is going to be up for Genesis Gaming. Normally, I don't like to give it away, but these are the guys that are showing up, so it kind of just makes sense. Okay, so we'll be going to the central server for this one. All right. Oh, there we go. Trigger had to host the map just because he was having a little bug with his customs. That's all right. If you guys don't know Trigger, he is one of the newest additions to the AlphaX team, and already he has made a good name for himself. I've been really impressed with this young man, but he is going up against a veteran, one of the first pro players that I ever had the chance to lose to in Pili Pili. He's hanging out on the West Coast, so that's why this map is going to be on Central. But anyway, let us introduce the players, all tied up a piece. Up here in the top, representing AlphaX. Be careful not to pull him. He is a Trigger. And his opponent down here in the bottom, kind of similar to when you're trying to call a cat. For Genesis Gaming, he's Pili Pili. And already we're seeing subtle differences from these two players, as Trigger is going for a little bit of a more forward gateway expansion, meaning that he does want to throw down that Nexus at a relatively early time, I'd imagine. But on the other side of things, it looks like both sides are just going to be getting up those double assimilators as well. You can kind of see Pili Pili not fully mining off of his, and indeed even Trigger just going to try and save up a little bit in order to drop his own Nexus. Pili Pili also just going to try and deny the wall off for as long as possible, but he is already forced an additional zealot. Now, both sides have gotten the scout off. Has Trigger gone in? He hasn't just yet, but the fact that he hasn't seen the Nexus is pretty telling for him. Pili Pili even just gonna be hanging out, maybe dropping a second one. Oh my goodness, the Cybernetics Core going on down. This is a pretty big commitment for Pili Pili early on, but as long as he gets the cancel off, it's not gonna be the biggest of deals. Yeah, that is going to deny the Nexus for Trigger for such a long time. Trigger trying to respond, but his own pylon won't finish, so he's not going to be able to respond in kind. Looks like a little bit of ring around the Rosie as well. Just going to try and deny some of that damage so that it can finish up. And behind this, just going to go for a very quick to be scouted Stargate. Now, this is the kind of thing that you have to watch out for in these mirror matchups, because we do have Pili Pili going for that Twilight Council, which means he's going to be able to get a Blink. He's going to be able to potentially go for DTs as well if he so chooses, and either option is going to allow him to be very aggressive on his opponent's side of the map. Looks like the Zealot doing a very good job of kind of just tanking for this Stalker in the backfield, letting him get a couple of additional shots before retreating. But it's actually going to be Void Rays. Now, I'm not sure if that's more a reaction to thinking that there's some very aggressive thing coming across the map. Granted, there is, because Blink is on the way. Or if this is kind of just a new meta for him, he's using this to kind of scout around the map, make sure that there's no hidden pylons anywhere. That's a good possibility as well, as we do have this one probe way away from his friends. Yeah, Pili Pili is pretty safe. Pretty safe here. Getting that shield battery down, not the biggest of commitments for him. It means you're going to have 2 oracles in order to one-shot, and just takes away a lot of firepower from these units. We do see him getting ready as well for another strike, as he's going up to that Robo facility, straight into Immortals.
Game paused.
A little bit of a pause from Trigger. Okay, probably experiencing a little lag, maybe.
Game resumed.
I'm not sure about this build order completely, because you do delay the DTs for quite a bit of time. But still, if he can get in as Pili Pili moves out, oh, this could be very, very fatal for Pili Pili. Although we do see those additional gateways coming on in. Trigger's gotta get a read on this. He sees the pylon, but he doesn't know about the gateways in the back with that additional pylon. Oof, this is gonna actually hit him very hard, as that Zealot is way out of position. The Oracle going to come home, gets a full glimpse of the situation. He does have that Void Ray still, but already taking some pretty big shots. The shield battery overcharge is popped. And as that DT Shrine fades, will he be able to warp any in? Looks like he's just going to do so defensively. Catches some of the reinforcements. That's nice. That's very good. But there is still a lot of Blink Stalkers available to him. And for the next attack, he will have that Observer. So these DTs losing a lot of their utility. Good focus fire down. Going to get rid of the Void Rays. And yeah, they're pretty much not very useful. The Pylon going down, stopping the reinforcement wave. I think Pili Pili at this point just pushes his way through, and Genesis Gaming goes up to match point for this series. Very crisp, very clean games here from both sides. I feel like Trigger, he did delay getting up that kind of cheese way too late. When you're going for DTs, you obviously want that element of surprise, and by the time he was able to warp him in, he needed them defensively. That's kind of the basis of it. It's unfortunate, but you know, they have a little bit of wiggle room, just a little bit though. Looks like Cham taking a game off of Exxon Nina, as we are going to be going on to Lightshade for map number 4. All right, I like this one already. We've got one player in, just waiting for Genesis guy. I don't see any additional players. They might be in the wrong lobby for... make sure, guys, I don't know if any of the players are watching, but if you are playing in this one, make sure you're in NATL2. That's where I am posting the lobby links. Yeah, talking about Lightshade. Obviously, in the current meta, in the current map pool, this is the one you see the most most often. I forget English. It's a terrible language. Never use it. But you have those two different third positions. One of them can be much more aggressive, allowing you a much closer reinforcement point. But at the same time, you also have that bit of a safer one in the backfield, which is kind of held off by not necessarily a super choke point, but just a little bit easier to hold, I would imagine. Now I'm just trying to find out, checking out everything. A lot of nerds in my DMs right now. That is how it goes. Yeah, how is everyone doing How is everyone doing tonight? It is a beautiful day here. You know, getting to cap it off with some good StarCraft 2 action is always the best way to end the day. I actually just got a job today too, so I am super excited. Although it means casting less StarCraft 2 at night, but you know, gotta make the sacrifice for the cheddar. let's see. Looks like we don't have their player just yet. Apologize for the delays, guys. Let me see if anyone whispered something to me. Apologize for the delays once again. I'm gonna have to do that a couple of times. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the last player. I can't see anyone just yet. Okay, probably found him. Let's see. Okay. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on here. The other player is not responding just yet. So we're gonna figure this out. Bear with me, guys. I know it sucks waiting. Obviously, still a lot of good StarCraft 2 coming on in. So yeah, talking about this match. Obviously, let's kind of take a look at some of the rankings here. I am gonna make sure that this is set. Yeah, that's what I'm weirded out by. But let's take a look at some of these rankings as they step up. So obviously AlphaX is still in the top. This hasn't been updated for this match just yet. But we're currently sitting up on 12 to 8, four games ahead. Psystorm Gaming is getting very close on their heels. They do play later on today, so they will be trying to kind of inch their way for the better seed. Genesis Gaming, they're down here in third place, so those couple of games that they're winning so far are going to be able to push them a little bit closer as they have a pretty good ranking right there at 8 to 7. But that's kind of your top 3 teams, with Nina and Cham kind of battling it out for the 4th and final spots. NA Clowns, as you can kind of see, they're just 2 games back, so they might still have a chance. It's going to depend on how their series goes. Down here, like, they're gonna actually have to play Psystorm Gaming, so that is a good opportunity for them to kind of earn some of that back. But it comes down to these last couple of weeks. They have to play the top 3 teams, and that's where it necessarily gets hard for them. Okay. Okay, that's good. Yep, we got him, Mad Denix. Thank you. Looks like we found him. He is not dead. And we've got the ready. Guess what, guys? This is another mirror matchup. This has just been the night where we do not see anybody play anyone who is not the opposing or who's not the same race. But let's get this one underway. Spawning up here in the top position in the yellow trunks. Give it up for AlphaX's Vindicta. And his opponent down here in the bottom for the red team in Genesis Gaming. He is PracticeX, also known as ForeverX. Now, obviously, we are going to have that reactor come down first. There are very few situations where you don't get the reactor first because it's so much safer versus a Terran opponent. Obviously, out of all 3 races, I feel like this one is the most coin flippy because it's one of the only ones where you have a real big deviation. Obviously, in ZVZ, you have like roaches versus mutas, but they kind of all follow the same tech path, if that makes sense, because you'll usually just get a couple mutas, You'll attack across the map, but you kind of focus on the ground with the Roach Wars in most instances. TVT, you have Mech, which is a completely different path for you to go. Because you do need to get 2 armories rather than 2 engineering bays. So you have to get a lot of gas, whereas Bio, you can kind of afford to go on fewer gas geysers. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this one goes. Obviously, Vindicta is a very scary force in the region, going for double refinery early on as well. Oof, that is very tricky to deal with. But I do like ForeverX doing that little bit of a reactive trick of his own, just getting 2 and 1 after getting the factory up, so he will be able to expand at a normal time. Now, what this means for both sides is that there will be a lot of Reapers. There will be a lot of Hellions. It's not necessarily enough to kill your opponent, but if you take one in bad engagement early on, you're going to take massive amounts of damage. Looks like that SCV going down. Not the biggest of deals. It wasn't really doing anything, but that will give him a 1 SCV lead. So now you can see everyone is just kind of powering up so that they can take the best engagement that they can have. I haven't seen ForeverX play, but this is about to tell us exactly how it's going to go. Defender's advantage, doing a good job of keeping him alive right there, making sure that he has that extra Hellion and the extra Reaper, but you can't charge too far forward into this. Looking for a little bit of a positional play to get around his opponent. Will Vindicta respond by going home is the big question. On his side of the map, he is a little bit later on that Cyclone, so that means he's going to lose that third base for a while, but he's just going to say, to heck with it, I'm going to try and kill you. A lot of SCVs being pulled already, but the damage on the other side is just as great. The wall was down, so the Hellions are going to be able to just shoot a lot of these workers down. Now Forever is just trying to guide these SCVs over to the ramp so that the Hellions can get in on the action. It's like losing the Cyclone. That is a huge deal for ForeverX. He's going to have to land the Viking in order to finish this off. And now both sides have really just been reset with this. There's no Reapers to chase these guys around either, so they're still going to be able to get some damage on these very weakened SCVs. Oh my goodness. Exactly equal, too. The only difference is that Forever does already have his base up, so he's going to be able to recover a lot quicker with those mules. If you kind of take a look at that income tab, yeah, it's very heavily in his favor with those mules. To Vindicta's credit, though, he has saved way more of his units. So that does mean that he can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, it looks like. As the first Cyclone going to lock on to his compadre. Does get out of range, but this is all he really has. A couple of Marines and the Cyclone. That is not a very good way to defend. He's going to have to land the Viking once again. And losing even more workers. This is so painful for ForeverX, although he will be able to clean this up. Ooh, not even getting the last shot off on those Marines. Those will be able to heal up later on in the day. So in terms of standings, let's kind of take a look at that battle report there. He got the Viking, he got a Marine, but at the end of the day, Vindicta got a little bit more. Still behind, however, because like I said, that second base was up for so much longer. Now on ForeverX's side, he's still pumping out these mech units, but we haven't seen the additional factories going down. Looks like a reactor is going to be built on that racks as well. That's pretty interesting. I'm not saying that it's going to be mech off the back, but there's a good possibility of it. Because I think at this point, as a Terran player, you want to be starting stim. You want to be getting those additional racks down if you're not going to go for your third base. You just want to be getting something down if you're going to be going for bio. But Vindicta did get wind of this attack coming across the map. 3 Cyclones, a couple of Marines. Let's see how much they can do with the siege tank in the backfield. Okay. Wrong side of the map, buddy. So far, both sides just giving each other a lot of room to grow and expand. Vindicta has caught back up on terms of those SCVs, but he's now going to be down a base, and he can't really afford to expand on his own. This might be kind of the thing telling him to stay on 2 bases and just go for one big push. I digress on that point, though, because there you go. It's going to be mech from Forever X. So, for the bio player, the best way to play against this, because you're not going to have air control, you're not going to have kind of the ability to stay positional, you're going to have to just play a very guerrilla warfare style. Hit and run as you will. Basically just kind of force your opponent out of position, but there is a big window where that will stop working as they get up to that very heavy army supply lead. Now, obviously, there are a couple of different ways that you can kind of move around on this map. As we do see, he gets the full scan off, revealing that it's mech. So now he's going to have to react, gets stimmed down instantly, gets that third base about halfway complete. And just going to keep an eye out for when that third CC is dropped. Looks like he's just going to keep that in the main base to produce some SCVs for right now. Another scan going down. The racks have fallen. Just revealing the own third base. As we got that armor coming up. How many Vikings does he have right now? That's a pretty big deal. He's got 6 of them. And for Vindicta, he's trying to go for a Liberator. I'm a little bit interested by that move. You see, because with the Liberator, you do want to kind of keep that Viking count above your opponents, but in getting that, it slows down, like it just slows down your air production. It's like Forever finally going to be taking his own base. I feel like the advantage that he had by having that base up for so much longer really wasn't utilized with how late he took it, because he hasn't taken these gas geysers. He's still only on 4 geysers. And, I mean, with that, he's not going to be able to produce as efficiently or as heavily as he should be able to. And here we go. Vindicta going to look for a little bit of an angle, but Forever is already ready to go in that main base. There are some Ravens to help. A little bit of a miss micro there from Forever straight into the siege tank line. Dorito Cannon gonna fall down on top of all of his workers, and that's gonna give just a little bit of an angle for these guys to get in. Not gonna really mean too much though, as they all get cleaned up. Now Scan's going to go down. He's just trying to deny some of that gas mining. Looks like he still has one Raven up and operational, as ForeverX just continuously trying to press his way forward. And again, those Vikings are going to be one of the most important things here for Forever. As long as you can keep your Viking lead, you're going to be just fine. This game be vibing, that's for dang sure. As we see that big army move out. A little bit of a stutter there. Hope the players didn't feel that. The siege tanks are at the top of the ramp. They do get in range of ForeverX, but he did lose a good majority of his Vikings. Scan gonna go down, revealing what is left. Looks like he wants to drop the Vikings right on top of this, but no dice on that part. Trying to inch his way forward is ForeverX, but he's taking so much fire. I think that went really well for Vindicta, just overall. And as I say that, losing the siege tanks for almost free, trying to get a little bit of a pick off here. You got to keep those medevacts alive. That's for dang sure. But now Forever has sieged up this location, and he is looking for blood. Since he doesn't have the Viking control, he's going to have to continuously be scanning this location in order to stay alive here. I'd say at this point, you might just want to sacrifice this base, bring it up, bring it over here, and just re-siege yourself up. As we do have a small drop going to be coming in. Looks like Forever does have a siege tank in position. Ooh, losing the base. Definitely not where you want to be. Now trying to re-establish that force. He's going to go straight into the main base. I think that's really the only thing he can do at this point, is do his best to try and shut down this production. But keep in mind, there is still so much left here at home for ForeverX. You can't really get into any of these bases. I think at this point, you toss down a Thor or two, because that's the only way you're really going to be able to survive this air onslaught. One good Cyclone will help out quite a bit, just to help shut them down, but you can't get any closer than this. Here we go, going to inch his way in, but the siege tanks are already ready to go. Okay, the Cyclone actually doing a lot of work here, getting rid of those Liberators. Trigger already played Zeiss. He was map number 3. He had to go up against Pili Pili, so that was not the best situation for him. Now Vindicta really just needs to find his angle. It's going to be very difficult to break this siege line, but if he goes in from all sides, that might be his way to do it. If he decides to go for a base trade as well, I wouldn't necessarily hate that decision. But, yeah, just the fact that he's trying to make these Liberators when he doesn't have that air control, when he doesn't have the ability to keep them safe. And yeah, there you go. There's already so much of Practice's army across the map as well that... I just don't know. These extra starports are super late. Yeah, welcome to North America, ladies and gentlemen, where the points are made up and the games don't matter. Even just trying to lift up, that is such a dicey thing. The SCVs need to come over and repair, but they won't. Ooh. A good angle going to allow those siege tanks to siege forward. Does he have enough bio to clean it up? It looks like at the end of the day, yes, he does. But still, he is down 50 supply. He does not have that much to his name, and he's going to have to get ready for this next big wave of Forever X. Will he have time is the big question, and I think the answer might be maybe not. Yeah, even just mining out the main base and trying to reposition himself as much as he possibly can, getting the missile turrets as well to keep himself safe from the Vikings. Scan's going to go down. He's going to get a couple of pot shots, but these are +2 attack siege tanks. They do not care. Even trying to get Metavax. Oh my goodness, he's lost his position. And unfortunately, I feel like this is almost death by 1,000 cuts. As losing 16 workers, keeps continuously trying to reposition these siege tanks, but never able to find the angle to hide from the Liberators. He's going in for what looks to be another surround this time, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much firepower with all of this. It's continuously being forced back. I think the only way you're going to win it is if you hit from all sides and also hit when those siege tanks are not sieged. He's going for a 4th base up here. I gotta say, that's pretty bold. Yeah, just a little bit indecisive as well, as you can kind of see. Now maxed out Forever X. Might be in a little bit of trouble. The siege tanks do come forward. Gets one siege tank. The second one just going to stand there. Scan going to go down, revealing where this army is at. That gives him the confidence to move forward. And I don't really know what too much else to say about this one. Vindicta just didn't really get that transition into the air army that he would need to counter this. Because I feel like TVT, obviously you do need that air everywhere, but hold that thought. As the full 360 surround does come in, it's a very costly engagement. Nice cleanup, but again, you're going up against a 4, soon-to-be 5 base mech player. You're going to have to do a lot more than just remake these Metavacs. Did he even remake that factory at any stage? Okay, he did. But how's his tank count looking? It's at 0 because he lost the 1 tank that he had. Or 3 tanks that he had, rather. Oof, even making that an orbital. As he's going to be trying to get a snipe over here. Gotta say, though, those Vikings are getting lower and lower. And, yep, Forever X and Practice X are the same person. It's a Hannah Montana situation. As we see, I think this is pretty much the last big push for Forever X. He is completely maxed out. He has enough back at home to defend these small little run-bys of Vindicta that he's trying to get off. He goes for the big surround once again. He gets some good spread in, just trying to mitigate some of that damage. But a little bit too strong there. Forever X will push Genesis Gaming over the top, making it a 3-1. But don't worry, we play the last game no matter what. And it's going to be a doozy of a game as we can bring back anyone from the dead. So raise your kappas, raise your hearts, raise your rage. As we're going to get this one nice and juicy of a game. Looks like we got our first player. I'm just having a little fun in the chat. Oh, cool. Looks like a game I'm watching is going out on Kickstarter. I've literally never seen this Genesis team lose. Well, you know what? They're a pretty good team. They are certainly stacked in this lineup. That is for dang sure. AlphaX might be getting dethroned tonight, you know? But on Submarine, anything can happen. And from what I see in this lobby, anything will happen. Oh, I hate not being able to reveal the players before we do the introductions. The only thing I will say that this is going to be an exciting TVP. And that might have just given it away because spawning up here in the top position, representing Genesis Gaming, he is Pili Pili. I always feel like I gotta lock my door because a random cat might come in when I say that. But up here, he's looking for revenge. He's looking for an angle of closure. He is AlphaX Gaming's Vindicta. And so obviously we know what kind of player Pili Pili is. All you guys in the chat, I'm sure a good majority of you Twitch GMs have had to suffer his wrath. Vindicta on the other side, you know, he's a strong, confident dude. I think he had the right ideas. He just had them too slow for the last game. That doesn't make him a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. And I think Pili Pili is up his alley for relative strength level. I think these guys are the most evenly matched of the night, as we've kind of seen a little bit of a KO stomp in all of our games. It was really one-sided. I heard of Pili Pili and thought he was on Team Exxon. He might have been. Pili Pili's been around for quite a long time. He's been on a number of teams. I am sure of it. But as for what's going to be happening in this game, it looks like Vindicta is going to be taking a little bit of a page out of Beyond's game book. He's got the Marauder coming in. He's got the concussive shells as well. So now that Pili Pili has seen this, the easiest way to deal with it, just throw down a shield battery in the front and you'll be perfectly safe. But basically what this push is, it's never meant to kill your opponent. It's just there to put some pressure on, force another Stalker, another Adept, just just kind of to force your opponent into making some additional units, so he has to cut his pro production a little bit. Now Pili Pili, he's saying, I don't want to deal with you, Vindicta. If I go into the late game, it is going to hurt my wrists like crazy. So he's just going to go for a straight up 3, maybe 4 gate. Oh my goodness, this is a very, Very difficult situation for Vindicta. He's got to get the scout off on this. Oof. Even just seeing that number of stalkers, he knows exactly what's up. Bunker's gonna go down. He's got Stim on the way. That is the best way to start things off. The fact that he does have that concussive shells as well to slow down these stalkers might help him survive, but it's gonna come down to the micro. The Marauders taking a lot of damage here. Getting one of those stalkers. Good focus fire, though, will save some of these units, but the last Marauder is just dancing around, not going to be able to get into that bunker. He's got one more ready to go, but now the Stalkers can just dance around that position. Already 5 of them have gone down, and the Mules will drop as well. This is definitely not how you want to start things off as Vindicta. Some good pullbacks there as well, just going to keep these Stalkers alive. The bunker falls. He doesn't have a backup retreat position. Stim did just complete, so that's going to give him a little bit more, but that, my dear brethren, is going to be the end of Alpha's dominance.